I'm now going to go through the process of an assistant performing a white cell differential. So first of all, we'll log in. The username and password can be the same. The password never expires. And just a reminder that there is unlimited number of users. So as you can see here, we have a limited number of options. We can either look at a slide and perform a differential, which is known as train diagnosis. We can view our reports, and remember we can, as an assistant user, the assistant user can only see their reports. We can log out and exit. So let's go for train diagnosis. So first of all, we get presented with the number of available packages. Currently we've only got the August 2020 package available. Let's look at that one. So here these are the available slides. So the expert has released all 6 slides for everybody to look at. You can only look at a slide once as an assistant user. Once you've done that differential, then you are not able to do that slide again. So let's have a look at the first slide in the August 2020 package. So the first thing it does is bring in all those images in, and then it will present the user with a screen full of cells, and here we are. And as you can see, we have some cells that have got blue borders around them. That means that the expert user has added a comment. And if we hang over it, we can see that the cell comment is, this is a neutrophil, and also on that one. But we don't have a comment on any of the others. So from this, if we wanted to, the expert, using the comment field, could note particular aspects of each cell. So for example, we could note that there's hour rods present, dull bodies, etc. So the job of the assistant user is to perform a differential. You can see down here we have neutrophils Z, lymphocytes X, monocytes C. So the Z, X, C, B and B, they're the shortcut keys. So by holding the control key down, I can select multiple cells of the same type and very quickly classify them as their particular cell type. So holding the control key down and selecting the cells selects multiple cells. Now we've got a few options here. We can either drag and drop them across to the relevant classification, and you can see here now we've gone from 110 out of 110 cells, we've looked at 22. So we've identified 22 neutrophils. If I double click on the cells to be classified, it brings it full screen. So we'll continue doing this. So control and select the cell. Now I'm going to make some mistakes. Some of them are deliberate, because I need you to see what the report looks like, particularly when a user gets a cell wrong, and how informative that is to the user. Okay, so last time we dragged and dropped. What I'm now going to do, I'm just going to press the Z key, and we can see those go across. So the 22 will increase to 51, and we can see we've identified 51 out of 110 cells. You have got to identify each cell. You can't ignore cells. You've got to put them into a classification before you can finish the report. So let's continue picking a few lymphocytes, a few mistakes as I go. And you can see it's very easy to use. It's very quick, very easy. So here another option will be to right click and just select lymphocytes. So there's 3 options. We can either drag and drop to the relevant classification, use a shortcut key, or use the right shift key, or use the right key on the mouse to select which cell. Right click, eosinophils, or we can drag and drop. So let's drag and drop these monocytes into the monocyte classification. A couple of basophils, they're B, neutrophil Z, lymphocyte X. So you can see we've now classified everything. So we've looked at 110 out of 110. So from here, what you could do is double click on the neutrophil line, and it brings all the neutrophils up. So from here you can see if there's any global aspects in neutrophils, if we've got left shift, right shift, toxic granulation, hypersegmentation, etc. And of course, obviously you can then correct some mistakes. So you're going to get it right all the time. So we've got lymphocytes, monocytes, EOs, vasos. If we look across at these tabs and we select the Properties tab, we can see we have some basic clinical information. Now it's up to the expert user as to how much or how little information you give. By default, we will give some basic hematological information, and it's up to the expert to decide whether they want to show it you or not. The white cell tab on here, you can add some fairly generic white cell morphology terms, and if I click on the RBC, we get a red cell field that we can zoom in and zoom out of and scroll around using the cursor on the mouse wheel. If you want to, we can add some red cell morphology comments. So if you think there's 2+ microcytosis, select 2+, and that will be compared to against a reference. If you think there's parasites, you can actually count the number of parasites by right-clicking and then saying that's a parasite, for example. So if you see here, I've got 1, and if I think that's a parasite, I can select that. We've now selected 2 parasites. So you can use this to calculate the parasitemia, and also you can use it to calculate things like how many schistocytes there are, which may be useful. There's a platelet tab where you can, if you want to, add whether you think there's some aggregation or some missing granuloma, which I guess it means hypergranular platelets. If I press finish, it's going to say, do you want to finish your slide? If I say yes, then that's it. And you can see now that the 01 August is now, we can't access it. So if I try and access it, it says I can't. I've done it again. I've already used it, and I can't do it again. But these others, which are in bold, I can look at. But now you want to know how well you've done. So if I go to Evaluation Report, I can see all the slides I've ever looked at. One option is to pick this package. So let's have a look at the August package. And let's have a look at the slide. And it will bring me a graphical display of every cell. And you can see the green border around the cell means they're the cells I've classified correctly. A red border means I've classified it incorrectly. And if I select it, you can see that the expert thought it was a lymphocyte, I thought it was a monocyte, or this user thought it was a monocyte. So you can quickly go and get that instant hit of how well or how badly we've done. The other option is to produce a proper report, a PDF report. So we can do that by clicking on Create Report, select the slide. If we've done a lot of slides, we can filter down using Package and Slide, and we're going to select Create a PDF. We can then say where we want that PDF to be produced. So if you've got a mapped network drive, you can ask for that report to be produced onto your personal portfolio. It produces a report, and then it subsequently displays the report as a PDF. So the first thing it shows you is some sort of basic information. So the expert is green, the assistant is in red. And we can see that the expert saw 41 lymphocytes, whereas the assistant only saw 40. If I scroll down, we can see some the absolute figures and the percentage figures, and then some true pos, false pos, true neg, false neg, and sensitivity and precision calculations, which may be useful for your ISO accreditation. But here's the powerful part. So it says, I call that a monocyte. It's actually a lymphocyte here, and here's a picture of that cell. So you can instantly see where you've got wrong, and you could almost argue there's some reflective learning there as well. Here's a red cell morphology. So we thought, or this assistant thought, there was 2+ microcytosis, and the expert didn't think there was any at all. The same for the white cell morphology and platelet morphology. And here we can add a comment, so we can explain what we've done wrong, or just that, sorry, got it wrong. Or they could put the film comment on there. And we can then save that and print this page off, and then we can send that to the manager or expert. So we'll save that. So that's the assistant report. So that's the assistant user and what they can do.